Malaysia is quietly becoming the next China. Here's how. While the world is glued to headlines about China's economic slowdown and India's billion-strong market, one country is quietly building something even bigger, right under everyone's radar. And no, it's not Singapore, it's not Vietnam, it's Malaysia. From booming tech hubs to mega infrastructure projects to global trade routes that rival the biggest players, Malaysia is reshaping Southeast Asia's power map without the world even noticing. The real question is, how is this happening so quietly? And why isn't anyone talking about it yet? Because the numbers don't lie. Malaysia could very well be Asia's next economic powerhouse. And in this video, we'll unpack the 7 reasons why Malaysia might just shock the world and outpace the giants you've been watching all along. Segment 1. Malaysia's economic boom. Let's start with the numbers. While much of the world has been grappling with economic slowdowns, Malaysia's economy has quietly kept climbing. In fact, its GDP growth is now outpacing several developed nations, turning heads among investors who are finally starting to notice. But here's what makes Malaysia different. It's not just growth for growth's sake. It's purposeful, diversified, and future-focused. Yes, Malaysia's long relied on palm oil, rubber, and oil exports, but that's not the whole story anymore. Today, Malaysia is investing heavily in technology and digital services, green energy and renewables, high-value manufacturing. With programs like Digital Malaysia, the country is attracting global tech players, building AI and data science hubs, and turning rural towns into economic hotspots. Big names in semiconductors, automotive parts, and electronics are moving their production lines to Malaysia, drawn by its modern infrastructure and highly skilled workforce. And it's not just Kuala Lumpur. Malaysia's economic boom is spreading across the country, reaching small towns and rural communities that were once left out of the growth story. Malaysia isn't just growing, it's growing with purpose, building an economy that's inclusive, resilient, and ready for the future. Segment 2. Malaysia as Asia's rising trade hub. Now let's talk about geography. Because Malaysia might just be the most strategically placed country in Asia. Sitting right between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific, Malaysia controls some of the busiest shipping routes on Earth. Billions of dollars in global trade pass through its ports every year, including Port Klang, one of Southeast Asia's top logistics powerhouses. But Malaysia isn't stopping there. The government is doubling down on infrastructure upgrades, modernizing ports, airports, and customs systems to transform Malaysia into a regional supply chain leader. And while much of the world focuses on China's Belt and Road Initiative, Malaysia has quietly positioned itself as a key partner, leveraging Chinese investment while strengthening its ties with the US and Europe. Malaysia is no longer just a stopover in global trade. It's becoming a strategic hub for manufacturing and assembly, digital trade and e-commerce, regional distribution and logistics. And with new trade agreements opening doors to China, the US, and beyond, Malaysia is fast becoming the gateway to all of Southeast Asia. Big players are moving in, global corporations are setting up shop, and the world, still distracted by the usual giants? Segment 3. Political stability amid regional turmoil. Southeast Asia has seen its share of political chaos lately. Thailand rocked by protests and leadership uncertainty. Myanmar engulfed in a military coup and civil conflict. Indonesia, Vietnam, and others navigating their own political turbulence. But Malaysia has done something almost no one expected. It stayed remarkably stable. Despite leadership changes, parliamentary reshuffles, and power struggles, Malaysia's democratic institutions have held firm. No coups, no mass unrest, no civil breakdown. And while others in the region have been forced to pick sides between China and the United States, Malaysia has played its cards perfectly. By maintaining balanced relationships with both East and West, Malaysia has positioned itself as a trusted partner to multiple superpowers. It's avoided the trap of choosing sides, focusing instead on pragmatism and national interest. This quiet, steady approach is exactly why global investors are starting to see Malaysia as a safe bet in an otherwise volatile region. Because while neighbors fight for survival, Malaysia is building toward the future. Segment 4. Tech and Innovation Powerhouse. Let's talk tech, because this is where Malaysia is quietly rewriting the script. While the world talks about Silicon Valley, Shenzhen, and Bangalore, Malaysia is quietly building Southeast Asia's next tech giant through government-backed initiatives like Digital Malaysia, The country is transforming into a regional leader in artificial intelligence, data science, renewable energy technology. But here's the kicker. It's not just about importing tech from China or the West. Malaysia is building its own tech ecosystem, one that's producing homegrown startups and regional success stories. Take Grab, for example. Once a small ride-hailing app from Malaysia, now a regional fintech giant operating across Southeast Asia. And that's just the beginning. Malaysia's startup scene is thriving, fueled by government incentives, international partnerships, and a young, tech-savvy workforce. From fintech to e-commerce, from blockchain to green energy solutions, Malaysia is planting the seeds for the next wave of Asian tech leadership. And with major tech players setting up research centers and data hubs, Malaysia isn't just playing catch-up, it's positioning itself to lead. Segment 5, Infrastructure Transforming the Nation. What's powering this transformation? Massive infrastructure development. Malaysia isn't just upgrading a few highways or airports, it's re-engineering the entire country. Projects like the East Coast Rail Link, connecting the East and West Coasts like never before. The Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail, set to slash travel time between two of Southeast Asia's biggest economies. And that's just the start. Malaysia is modernizing. Ports and airports to handle booming trade. Highways and rail networks to connect rural and urban economies. Smart city projects, turning urban hubs into tech-driven, sustainable ecosystems. All of this makes Malaysia more attractive to global investors. Because when a country invests in connectivity, it unlocks new economic corridors and reduces business costs. But Malaysia isn't stopping there. It's investing in green infrastructure and smart city solutions, aiming to build cities that are digitally connected, environmentally sustainable, and globally competitive. This isn't just about building roads and buildings. It's about building the foundation for Malaysia's future as a regional powerhouse. Segment 6, Tourism and Cultural Soft Power. While Malaysia's economy, tech, and infrastructure get most of the attention, there's another engine driving its global influence: soft power. Malaysia has quietly become one of Southeast Asia's most exciting tourist destinations. From the pristine beaches of Langkawi, to the cultural heritage of Penang, to the urban energy of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia offers something for every traveler. But it's not just about tourism. Malaysia is positioning itself as a leader in sustainable travel, promoting ecotourism and cultural tourism. That celebrates the country's diverse heritage. And beyond tourism, Malaysia's cultural exports are starting to make waves. Malaysian cuisine is gaining international recognition. Music and film industries are producing content that's reaching global audiences. Artists and creators are using digital platforms to amplify Malaysian culture worldwide. This growing cultural influence helps Malaysia shape its image as a modern, dynamic, and globally connected nation. It's not just the economy that's rising. Malaysia's identity is becoming a regional and global brand, and that's a powerful asset for any country aiming to lead. Segment 7, Education and Talent Development. All this progress means nothing without the people to power it, and Malaysia knows it. That's why the country is heavily investing in building the next generation of talent. Malaysia has become a magnet for international students, offering affordable, high-quality education in a multicultural environment. But it's not stopping at universities. Malaysia is pushing STEM education hard, from coding boot camps to technical training programs, making sure the next generation is ready to lead in technology, finance, engineering, digital innovation. The government is also partnering with top universities worldwide, bringing global expertise to local classrooms. This isn't just about preparing Malaysians for local jobs. It's about building a workforce that's ready to compete globally. A workforce that will power Malaysia's rise as Southeast Asia's next economic giant. Because in the end, it's not just about infrastructure, trade, or technology, it's about people. And Malaysia is betting on its people to lead the next chapter. By the way, do you know that the China Love Malaysia? Watch this next video and I will see you there.